Melissa, I think this is the first time on the captain's log that I'm hungover. I've
Okay.
I've been tipsy on the podcast. I've drank on the podcast.
Wait, this is typically a nighttime podcast that we
Right.
record at like 8 p.m., but we're in a new time slot recording at 11 a.m. on a Sunday.
Yeah, those corporate execs upstairs, they wanted to move things around, so now we have to record here on Sunday mornings. Yeah, a little bit hungover today, but that is okay. I had a blast last night. Went out to a Korean restaurant. It seemed to be a fairly new one. I think they opened up in like November. I think they were also a little bit busier than they were expecting to. They looked like they were a little bit understaffed. At one time, they ran out of cups and was like, we'll have to get you different cups. So we had a great time, though, and we went to a bar after that and then got some donuts from a 24/7 donut shop.
Oh,
so
the best, the backbone of America.
Yeah, indeed. They had all sorts of donuts. They had a Bart Simpson donut, which was
Butterfinger?
Butterfingers, some kind of chocolate, and something else. I've not had that one yet. But it's sitting there waiting.
The St. Louis grocery store chain Schnucks has a fairly nice donut case for a grocery store, and they've got a Butterfinger donut that they call a Goldfinger. Many options you can go with a Butterfinger.
Yeah, indeed. If you guys did not know, this is episode 264 of the Whatnauts Captain's Log. My name is Kyle Springer. I am joined by Melissa Wilkinson. Melissa, how are you?
I'm doing good. What's your favorite, standard donut? Like the donut you could find in any donut store.
The Devil's Food Cake, the chocolate cakey one that's also glazed. Yeah, that one's good.
I'm also a cake donut person. I go for a blueberry cake.
Nice. I guess in general, I'm not on any one side or the other to be like, I like the cake ones or I don't like the cake ones.
We need them all.
They're all good. They're all fun.
What's life
I like the classic
with only
glazed,
one and not the other? Yeah.
Indeed. But yeah, the shop we went to last night seemed more like we pretty much only do specialty donuts. I don't think I saw a regular glazed donut. It was pretty much just all specialty. Here's different kinds of cereals. They had the Fred Flintstone with all their fruity pebbles on top and
we've got
stuff
that.
like that. Yeah. All sorts of stuff. They had one that it was a peanut butter and jelly donut.
Love
not
that.
my kind because I don't really like them with jelly or cream filled stuff, but they had all sorts of stuff. And the box that we got a dozen. The box was huge. He opened up the box and I was just like, oh, that's a lot bigger than I was expecting.
Were the donuts extra big or did they just have leg room in that box?
They are a good size. I wouldn't say they're extra big, but maybe slightly. And I think they're taller too because they have they have stuff on top of them.
Yeah, right? That's true.
It's not
I don't know if our donuts are getting wider.
Cream.
Yeah, donuts are getting taller, much as human evolution. We're taller now than we would have been 100 years ago, same as donuts.
Therefore, my mouth is taller. Therefore, I can fit taller donut.
Right. Are our mouths taller? I don't know. I'll have to go to a museum or ask my dentist.
Hey, dentist, is my mouth taller
than a historical mouth of my ancestors?
Good Lord. Melissa, the bar that we went to at one point, they were the football game had ended. And so the bartender was putting something else on. And it was really interesting because they had a couple TVs around the bar that weren't your big flat screen sport. They had the CRT with the like VCR still, but it was
beautiful.
They were all hooked up to the same like streaming service, and you could watch HBO Max on the little like 10-inch.
That's fun. I love the idea of watching
screen. Yeah.
Watching a new thing, watching The Bear on a 10-inch CRT TV.
Right. They had one that was still in black and white. Like that's all it had. But he was scrolling through HBO Max, like trying to decide like what should we put on. And I happened to look up and see what he was scrolling by, and it was Scooby-Doo. So of course I start chanting Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Doo, Scooby, and he puts on Scooby-Doo. It was great.
Yay!
We had a blast. When was the last time you like just went out with some friends for like, let's just go eat, let's go get some drinks, let's go hang out, do something?
When it's attached to a movie,
Sure, yeah.
Jack and I are dining out people. We love a lunch or dinner out. That's one of our primary forms of recreation. But I don't know, we never go to a bar. I'm not much
Sometimes
of a bar person unless I'm there for trivia.
Sure, yeah.
I'm like, what do I need here that I can't get at just like I'm only going to have like 2 drinks. I can get that done at a 54th Street bar and grill.
Yeah.
I don't have to go out to the cool club street. I know where the cool club streets are. I've dropped off or picked up people from there, but that's not my business to be there personally.
Man, interesting. So yeah, we were trying to think of like when the last time that we did that, and it had been quite a while. We went out to brunch with one of the same girls we were out with last night. That was like October, I think, something like that. We don't go out as much as we used to, but oh well, we had fun. We had a blast. We had at the Korean restaurant. They had that thing looked like a giant bong, but it's basically just one of those like water cooler things with the little spouts at the bottom.
Okay.
And they fill it with like they fill it with beer. The Korean place we went to filled it with beer and soju, like mixed in. And so we all just split that, but it's this like giant tower that like like you have one, and like the whole restaurant is looking at you of like, what did you get? Like what's happening here?
I'm frequently out with a single other person or like my family, and I'm not getting one of those with a single other person, and I'm not getting that with my family.
It would be good for a family, and I think they fill it up to different levels depending on like how many people are there at the table. Because they're not going to be like, here's the full thing for just you. Drink.
We're not a drinking family. That would be weird for us kids to get one of those while my parents sit there and drink their iced tea.
I mean, it could be fun. I don't know. Like, Mom, Dad, you're the designated drivers. Here we go.
You have to shove all us kids in the back seat of your car like old days.
Yeah, indeed. Good stuff. Let's see. Melissa, quick update for a mystery that we talked about last week. The case of the missing book. Searching my comic book store for a certain book that I was planning to get for my dad for Christmas. Mystery solved. They sold it.
Cool. Oh, to who?
Not so cool.
Your enemy.
Who knows? Yeah, right? Someone else.
Your greatest enemy or your greatest friend.
Moriarty is out there somewhere. We went back to the comic book store, and I asked, I was like, did you ever find out like what happened with that book? He was like, yeah, I asked around, had to ask someone who was only working with us for a short amount of time. They quit like the week before you came or something. And I was like, yeah, they sold it. So, and it was like 2 or 3 days before we had gotten there. So like they just sold it.
Weird.
Yeah, and it was just like, oh man, well, at least we know now, and we don't have to wonder about this strange missing book and all that.
I
good
also
stuff,
have a
so.
mystery for you.
Yeah?
I can't believe I forgot to mention this in our last episode. So over Christmas time, my car got broken into because it's an exceptionally stealable model of Hyundai. There's like
Okay.
some sort of a glitch in it that
I think
you
I
can
heard
exploit to
something about this. Yeah.
Yeah, like this generation of Hyundais and Kias, you can
There's
like
some like
hot
TikTok
wire them
video
easily.
that's out there that people are
Yep,
being
it's a
like,
trend.
oh, and that's how you break into Melissa's car.
Right, you can do a dance or make a special sandwich or steal a Hyundai.
Yeah.
I think that's all that happens on TikTok. Thankfully, I had just gotten like a security system upgrade, so they didn't steal my car. They just smashed a window and like broke apart the steering column. I don't know enough about cars to tell what they did. I just knew this doesn't look like I can drive it anymore. So like the police came and checked it out. They had to fingerprint the thing. I got fingerprint dust all over my car. And when I'm talking to like my parents on the phone or the insurance
Detective
company,
Perry Mason was the
police.
was there to help out. Kyle, you'll never believe who was investigating the case.
He is real after all. We talked about it so much we manifested him. Now he only solves TikTok crimes. But everybody's asking me, was anything taken from your car?
Right.
And I looked around. I'm like, no, like there's old CDs from high school or like a bag of trail mix from the glove compartment. I don't have stuff to take.
I'm missing. Now that's what I call hip hop 37. Now that's
like
what I call music.
They didn't take anything, but they left something behind that was not mine. And I don't know
Evidence.
what they left was a bottle of Kenneth Cole Reaction cologne.
Ooh.
Which I imagine they stole from another car they hit that night. Because the police said that mine was like the 10th of that model Hyundai that they got calls about in like 24 hours.
Yeah.
So like when you are going out on a night of hot wiring and joyriding, I don't think you bring cologne with you. You put it on beforehand. I don't think you need to re-up throughout the night. So I don't think that's cologne they brought from home. I imagine they stole it from another car and then it fell out of their pocket when they were in my car.
Right. I mean, it might be their calling card, right? They just like
For the cologne bandits.
Every theft we leave behind, Kenneth Cole.
Which is not a high-end cologne. I Googled it, and I think you can get it at Kohl's for like $35.
Yeah. That's so funny.
So the police tried to fingerprint it, and they're like, we couldn't really get anything off of it. We don't need to keep it for evidence, so we just left it there. So I'm like, okay, I'll also leave it there. I don't know what to do with it. I just have this bottle of Kenneth Cole Reaction in my car. Because I'm also like, what if somebody else who did maybe had this stolen from their car, they did tell the police they stole my Kenneth Cole Reaction and I'd like it back. Like this might come back to me if I throw it away. So I'm like, I'm just going to hold on to it and leave it where it was. Maybe I need reaction on the go.
Who knows? You might meet the other person and it's a really cute guy, right? And you're just like, I have your cologne. Wow. Cinderella, but a man's cologne.
What a meet cute.
Right? Yeah. Your car got stolen? Mine got stolen too. Wow. That's wild, though. You had one of the cars that got broken into. Like I had heard that was a thing, but I like that was just kind of it. Just read the headline and kept scrolling. But then to find out that Melissa's been burgled.
Again, not burgled. They punched the window. They've screwed up the steering column. I got it repaired already. It sucked that they did it on like December 22nd when like everybody's going out of the office and like leaving for the holidays, and I have to scramble to get this towed to a repair shop and then like borrow my mom's car, and it's freezing cold and I have to sweep up all this broken glass in the parking lot. Bad timing.
That's wild.
Kids, number one, don't hotwire cars. Number two, really super do not hotwire cars the week before Christmas.
Don't do that.
Inconvenient.
Don't be inconvenient.
Yeah. Why can't you do it in a nice mild April?
Good stuff. That's I was wondering when you put down on our notes the scent of crime.
Well, now you know it's
like,
Kenneth Cole reaction.
Yeah.
A bright citrusy scent.
Yeah, indeed. Well, let's see. We have a Planarama to get to. Do we want to start this now and kind of break it up with housekeeping somewhere in between there to give us a break? Or should I do my quick cinema corner stuff and then we do housekeeping a little
cinema
earlier?
Corner. You wrote down a TV show that I saw an ad for years ago, like 3 or 4 years ago, whenever this thing first premiered. And I'm like, what a weird concept for a show. And I've always wanted to like pitch it on the review show and I never got around to it. So please tell me about Home Before Dark.
Yeah, this is a crime show that you guys can find on Apple TV. There's currently 2 seasons. I think that's all it got. I don't know if they're continuing to make it or not. But it is. It's a crime, like it's a crime show, but the main detective, the investigator, is this young girl who's a journalist. She self-publishes her own paper, and it is based off of. It's like loosely based off of a real person. Is what I understand. I don't remember her name, but she. Started writing fictionalized mystery books based off of cases she reported on and stuff like that. And I think this show is based off of some of those books. So it's not a true crime show. It is fictionalized, but like parts of it are loosely based on things that she investigated. But yeah, it's like this 9-year-old girl who is this proclaimed journalist. She self-publishes her own paper, and it's because it kind of focuses on kids, right? It's not as gory as I mean, not that most other crime shows are gory per se.
But she's not going to cover a murder. She's going to cover a car was broken into and somebody left a bottle of cologne.
Yes, that would be her. No, she in season 1, she is covering long story short, they live in New York, move back to this like Pacific Northwest town in which her father grew up. It turns out that when her father was a kid, his best friend got kidnapped right in front of him. Like the van pulled up, they snatched him and drove off. And the father had never really talked about it. But the family is kind of rediscovering that this happened to him when he was younger. And so the kid decides, well, I'm going to investigate that case. And I'm going to solve it. And so, yeah, she starts reinvestigating this case. And very quickly is like, I think I know who did this, and writes an article and makes it look like the principal of her school is the murderer. and she hits send to all teachers and students and families at the school. And it does not go over so well, but it does start to stir up some stuff. And so, yeah, she investigates this case. It's actually a pretty good show. Like, I'm surprised. Like, it's not like the next season of True Detective, like that level of dark and weird and scary. But it's not necessarily a children's show. Um, maybe like young teens and families. Like there are still some cuss words and stuff that the other characters are saying. Like they're not shying away from like people being shot or stabbed or stuff like that. But it's also not like Scooby-Doo hijinks. Isn't this cute that she's solving a mystery?
Which is what I thought was so interesting about it, is that you have a kid reporter, which is such a hook for a comedy or a kid's like action adventure fun caper.
It's
or
not
even
Matilda, right? It's not Scooby-Doo.
Exactly.
It's not that. It's a little bit more mature than that.
I like the idea of that a lot, of taking a normally fun premise and being like, no, this would be very serious business if this happened in real life. We're taking a good hard look at child reporter.
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed it. So if you're interested in some crime shows, this one has 2 seasons on Apple TV, 10 episodes each for each season. So good stuff. I recommend it. I started watching it on one of the like really, really cold days that we got like snowed in and stuff like that. So Rachel, my partner, was home and just kind of like loosely watching it, and then like slowly was like, this is actually interesting. I kind of want to watch this. This is fun. So yeah, it's good. It's good. I recommend it. And then also finally got to go see The Iron Claw in theaters. It's a fantastic movie. Expertly made. I think the acting in that is incredible. It is a tragic movie.
When we left the theater, sad. I was like, that is one haunted ass film.
Yeah. One haunted family. And that's the thing. I know nothing about wrestling. I know nothing about the Von Erichs and their whole history. So all of this was brand new. The only character I recognized by name was Ric Flair. Though I did hear from another podcast who those hosts are into wrestling. They had said that the actor who played Ric Flair was not great at playing Ric Flair. So I don't know. Take that as a grain of salt, but that's what they said.
He's in it briefly.
Yeah, he just has like one main scene where he does some like television spot, and that's kind of it. But yeah, excellent film though. Very, very good. Also, not really my cup of tea. Like I walked out being like, man, that was really good. But also, I don't know, like not my favorite. You know,
I
don't know.
I liked it a lot. It went on my top 10 of the year, even though I only saw it on December 31st. That was my final film in theaters for 2023. It was a fitting end. I like that it's slightly a horror movie, but it's the horror of like fate and destiny and like generational trauma and this unending churn towards this terrifying horizon.
Yeah, it's
one
wild.
of the most greatest depictions of pain, just physical pain. Everyone looks like they're hurting so much. Everyone looks so sore. You can't do that on screen so well. And there's really beautiful sort of.
It's understated. Like when they first show you the pain, like there's a scene where a certain character loses a part of their limb, and they don't mention it. They don't show it to you right away. He just kind of hobbles over to the refrigerator on crutches, and you think like, oh, like maybe he broke his ankle or something like that. And then you just kind of have to notice on your own, and just like, oh. Like, okay. That happens. Ow.
Yeah. Which could be the soundtrack to the entire film.
Right. Yeah.
If If you do want to learn more, there is a show on Hulu called Dark Side of the Ring, where every episode is a mini doc about a different tragic or horrifying or bizarre story from wrestling history. And the Von Erichs are like episode 4 or 5.
I gotcha. Cool. Good stuff. And lastly, Melissa, I am happy to announce I have my tickets for Godzilla -1 -color.
Yay!
I'm so excited.
You found it!
We found it, yeah. We had to, like, it was in the app, but it wasn't. We had to search by date. Like, they didn't even have, like, the poster up to be like, here it is in black and white. We just had to go, like, what's playing next Friday? This is. So, yeah. Next time we reconvene for the Captain's Log, I will have seen Godzilla -1 for a second time, and this time in black and white.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Very cool. I got, speaking of having advanced sales of tickets, I got my tickets to see Argyle like the Thursday night it comes out. Because I'm like, I need to see this as soon as possible. Okay. I need to understand this marketing campaign.
Interesting. Yeah, we'll have some good movie talk next time. It's gonna be exciting. All right, Melissa, we got a Planarama to get to. Some things to plan out for the rest of our year. So let's take a quick break for housekeeping, and when we come back, we will get to planning all that stuff out. We'll be right back. Thank you so much for checking out this podcast. We hope you're enjoying it. If you didn't know, we make multiple different shows here at the Whatnauts, and a lot of hard work goes into making them, so we would love it if you check them all out. But none of this is possible without your support. Head over to patreon.com/thewhatnauts, and you can get access to over 40 hours of exclusive content, including our Patreon first podcast, The Pilots Club, when you sign up at our $3 tier. Of course, there is a free version of the Pilots Club available, but episodes are exclusive to our Patreon for 2 years before they hit the free feeds. If you're interested in buying merch, we have shirts, hoodies, mugs, and more for sale over at thewhatnauts.com/store. Another great way to help us out is by subscribing and leaving a nice rating and review on your podcasting app of choice. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel for video versions of the show, trailer reactions, and live streams. And lastly, you can always find out more information about the shows we make on our website, thewhatnauts.com.
I feel like that a lot.
Indeed. We are back. What's up, everybody? We got some exciting stuff happening over here at the Whatnauts. First of all, big shout out to all of our Patreon supporters. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It means a ton. Over on the Pilots Club, the episode for this month, for January, is all about the sitcom Reboot, which was a 2002 Hulu sitcom about a fictionalized sitcom that is now getting rebooted in a modern day context. Some interesting stuff that we got to talk about over there, including boobs.
Yes.
So, go listen to us talk about boobs in sitcoms over on our episode on Reboot. Right here on the Captain's Log. Last week was 2 weeks ago. I have to get out of the habit of saying last week on all of this stuff. Last episode, Melissa and I both got to catch up on a bunch of TV shows and movies that we had watched over the break. I told the whole missing book mystery, also a mystery about my parents wrapping their router in tinfoil. All kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff happening over there. We had a great time. Over on the review show, Melissa and I got to talking about the Ghostbusters. We watched all 4 of the current Ghostbusters movies in preparation of the new one that should be out in what? March? I think it's like the start of March that one's out.
Probably.
Something like that. It's coming soon. yeah, we had a great discussion about all the Ghostbusters films over there. And then over on the Reactor Core, Melissa and I got to do our reactions to Marvel's Echo. Their 5-episode mini series all about the character, which got her debut back in the Hawkeye show, and got to see more Kingpin in this one, which is also always a fun thing. So if you want to hear us talk about that, go check out our reactions. But yeah, that should be about it in terms of housekeeping. I guess the last thing I will make everyone aware of, I have now put all of our podcasts up in audio form on YouTube. A few months ago, they added in the feature to like import your RSS feed. So every time we publish a new podcast, YouTube automatically makes an audio version for us. I don't have to do that on my end. It just sticks it up there and biff, bam, pow. There it is. So if you guys have YouTube music, you can listen to the audio version. But as always, we're sticking with our video versions as well. So you guys got options. That's it. That's housekeeping. Mm-hmm. That's all of it. Planarama. Melissa, let's start planning things.
Yeah, this is our episode every year where we plan future episodes.
Wow, so exciting.
So I want to start with a contentious topic, which is our snack attack.
Yes.
In previous years, we have eaten Japanese Kit Kats. We did freeze-dried astronaut food. And last year we did Pocky. Yep. I love the concept of these, but my continual struggle is what is not wasteful. Because you and I have to order our own whole separate sets of these snacks. And I had a lot of leftover Pocky last year.
Yeah, and we don't have enough of an income from Patreon or no monetization on YouTube to be like, let's buy every can of Pringles that exists twice over. One
right. I'd love to do these, but we could only do it once over. So like there's some stuff that I kind of have in the back pocket for next time one of us happens to go visit the other.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. It is hard to come up with some stuff like that of like, what can we do in small doses that's still fun to do, that we can do all that stuff. So I even thought, because we've done the like Japanese Kit Kats, what if we try and see if there's like little variety packs of candies from different countries. Like it doesn't need to be like, oh, let's do like Korean Kit Kats or stuff like that. No, just
how different would it be?
Yeah, can we get a variety pack of Canadian candies? Can we get a variety pack of Indian candies? I think something like that might work, and we just try different countries every year.
I like that. I would like to suggest that now that we have moved time slots and we're recording at 11 a.m., do we have a breakfast or brunch themed snack attack we could do?
Yeah. Is there
Cereals.
Some kind of cereal
donuts?
Or I wonder if there's even some kind. Is there a recipe that we can find and we just cook ourselves a meal?
This is another thing I thought is, what if we do omelet bar where we assign each other, you're going to make this, and then you assign me, Melissa, you have to cook this.
Interesting.
So we show up with like, we design a brunch for the other person. I tell you a protein, a carb, a beverage, a fruit.
Could do something like that. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like we should try to make the same recipe and make it consistent.
Okay.
Because that way, like, if you were to assign me to make something and I make it kind of in a slightly different way than you expected, it might not be what you had intended.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I would be trying to like get around things and cheat and be like, haha, Melissa didn't expect that I would make it this way.
Or I like the idea of we assign each other a food. Let's say it's something like a pancake or a waffle or a French toast.
Sure.
Because I feel like you can keep that heated easier. There's nothing weirder than when an egg gets cold, when you make an egg sandwich and as you start eating from one end of the egg sandwich, the other end is like cold by the time you get there. Yeah. And you're like, how do eggs do this? Why are they like, if you don't watch them, they become the coldest food.
This reminded me every so often we'll make some like breakfast for dinner or something like that here at my house. And every now and then, like we'll have enough eggs left over that's like we don't necessarily want to like throw it away because it's enough that you could eat it, but also like I don't know, like it's not that much. So we have this little small Tupperware container that is about the size of like a small like ramekin, like you get like a sauce thing. It's real small, and we've stuck the eggs in that, and I think it's the weirdest thing. But my partner insists, like, no, we need to keep these. We'll eat them.
Eventually, we'll fry a whole rice about it.
Sure, yeah, and I've been calling them egg shots because it's about like it feels like the size of a shot glass. It's bigger than that, but still, it's just like it'd be like one like just knock it back and that's it. It's an egg shot.
Like we've all seen Rocky drink the raw eggs, but you've never seen Rocky drink softly scrambled eggs.
Yeah.
He just pours soft scrambled eggs into his mouth with no utensils.
Yeah. So that's an egg shot.
What I like the idea of us assigning each other a concept that has no specific recipe, and we see, like, I'm like, Kyle, please make wizard waffles. And you're like, what's wizard waffles? And I'm like, I don't know. What do you think it is? Make that. Bring it on the pod.
Interesting. Okay. Huh. We could do something like that. Maybe. That'd be fun. Yeah.
So for right now, I'm going to pencil in breakfast brunch food mystery recipe assignment. Sure.
Yeah. Brunch food mystery assignments. That's good. That's cool. So I've had dates written down on some of these on our planning doc here. These are loose. We can kind of do them whenever. But we had our taste test at the end of March. Our annual trivia night, as always, at the end of June. Our fantasy draft for kind of whenever. I didn't put a date on that one because last year we did 2 of them. And then we have, of course, our Halloween special at the end of October, and then our Rotten Tomatoes movie predictions game at the start of December.
Next time we record, 2 weeks from now, I will make good on a challenge you issued me last year.
Yes.
Which is, in time for the Super Bowl, explain what football is.
Dear Melissa, please explain football.
I've taken this challenge as seriously as I can.
Cool.
which is not very, but I'm gonna show up with something. I will next week.
I'm excited.
Also, this coming Tuesday, January 23rd, they will announce the Oscar nominations.
Yeah.
Last year, I ranked all Best Picture nominees from wettest to driest, and I intend to do so again. Do you want that next time we record, which would be just following the nominations, or do you want that closer to the Oscars ceremony itself on March 10th?
Let's do it closer to the ceremony. I feel like putting it closer to that gives you some time to kind of build your list.
Okay. I've seen them all. I've seen almost all of them already.
Okay, so you might even have your list ready to go.
I could do this 2 weeks from now, unless they throw a real shocker in there. For all of the expected movies, I've seen 9 out of 10, and every year I'm going to give myself one bummer pass. So I'm not watching the movie set on the outskirts of Auschwitz, but I've seen the rest.
But you did see Iron Claw, which is also sad and tragic. Okay, the Wet Awards. The Wet Awards. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so yeah, that is... Oh, go ahead.
There's a new game I'd like to bring on. I saw a YouTube channel do this challenge where he had to name his favorite movie for every year he had been alive. So it's a list of like 30 favorite movies from like 1994 till now or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'd like us to do the same.
Okay.
And I was even thinking, since our birthdays are a month apart, we're both 1990 babies.
Yep.
We could even force ourselves to design one list where we mutually have to agree. What is our favorite movie from 1997?
I'd be down for that.
Either together or apart. Together or parallel. I'd like to do that. That's a one-time thing. That's not really repeatable.
That's fun, though. Yeah, we can do
we
that.
Can slot it in anywhere.
One that we mentioned last year that we never got around to doing is drawing Pokemon from memory.
Yep.
Still on our hearts and our minds. We will get to this at some point.
Again, another thing you could slot in anywhere.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So that will be on the calendar. That's something we'll be up to. You have this thing for directors' ice cream flavors.
Okay, this is not a whole episode. I don't think we could do this for a whole episode, but maybe for 20 or 30 solid minutes. Film director Ava DuVernay has partnered with Ben & Jerry's to direct one of its flavors. And in your grocery store, you can buy a little pint of Lights Caramel Action, which I highly recommend. It's very tasty. But I was kind of disappointed that it's a general pun on movie making and not a specific pun on any of Ava DuVernay's films. So I've been thinking of ice cream flavor puns on directors' films.
Okay.
I wanted to see if you wanted to do the same. We just lob those back and forth for 20 minutes.
I might not be good at naming them, but you know how we used to do the like, what does this movie smell like? The Yankee Goes to Hollywood candle thing that we used to do. We could almost do something like that of like, what if we, instead of just this one movie, if we take all this director's filmography, what would that ice cream flavor taste like?
We could, but I wanted this to be a wordplay challenge more than a flavor challenge.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's interesting. I can certainly start thinking of some of those.
Just scroll up IMDb, stand in your grocer's freezer, and see what happens.
Cool. Trivia. Not trivia. For the fantasy drafts. I have on our little notes here that you and I are looking at. I had a few ideas written down. Did you have any that you were thinking of?
One that you wrote down was draft a 7-course meal, which I think is an interesting place to start. I mentioned earlier, friend of the show, Jack, our draft correspondent, has joined us for all these drafts. I figured she would do so again. Doris always welcome to her. We are restaurant fiends. We love a chain bar and grill. What if we drafted a chain bar and grill menu where it's like you get 2 appetizers, 2 entrees, a beverage, a dessert.
Okay.
And they have to be like real items. So you're like, I draft the Chili's quesadilla explosion salad. I draft
The
the
Bloomin' Onion
Outback
from
Steak.
Outback
Exactly.
Steakhouse. Yeah.
And now
Okay.
you're drafting a specific item, but you're like, nobody else can bring like an awesome blossom, whatever
Right,
anybody else calls an onion blossom.
If
I've
I
got
have
the
the molten
one.
chocolate cake, no one
Right.
else can have a knockoff volcano chocolate cake, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I
be
think
fun.
this would be a lot of fun.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I also have written down like best sidekicks. Like let's make a team of sidekicks. That was one option.
Only sidekicks to sidekick each other. No
right,
main.
Yeah. No mains, only sidekicks. And it's not like it's not like I want Batman to be my sidekick. No, you can't do that. You have to
Only
pick Robin, or you have to pick Aqualad, or you have to pick
There's so many different types of sidekicks. Like your team can have Peter Parker's friend Ned and also the raccoon from Pocahontas.
Yeah.
What are those two doing together?
No, also I forget the character's name, but the like lawyer doctor or something from Velocipaster.
Yes,
she's absolutely a sidekick.
Anybody's best friend in a romantic comedy.
Pick your friend group.
Right. The sidekick as it applies to any genre or medium.
Yeah.
I'm going to take this horse that Link rides around on in Legend of Zelda. That's a sidekick.
So my third one, and I do actually have a fourth one that I haven't written down, but I thought it might be interesting to have mystery themes for each other. So Melissa, you could come up with a theme in your mind and tell me that I need to pick 7 people. Just any 7 random people, and then I will pick those 7 random people without knowing what the theme is. And after I've gotten my list together, you will tell me that, like, hey, those 7 people, they're now all your exes, or they're now all your like these are the people you're in the apocalypse with, right? Like you can some mystery theme there, and it can be like all kinds of things. So I could be like pick 7 restaurants or pick 8 candies or something like that, and at the end of the day you will reveal what the theme is for me, and I'll come up with one for you.
That sounds fun in another context, but I feel like the
twist on it.
The fun of the draft is we're competing for limited territory, which is what I like about the chain restaurant menu, because there is only, we could design a list of like, okay, these are the restaurant menus we're picking from. Applebee's, Chili's, TGI Fridays, a 54th Street, a Ruby Tuesdays, every day of the week.
Yeah. And then the one that I did not have written down was, what if we picked themed bars and restaurants?
Yes.
And it has to be
like themes for them.
Yeah. Yeah. So for example, we were at the bar last night. What if I picked a Scooby-Doo themed bar? That'd be fun, right? But then you guys could no longer get Scooby-Doo, right? Or some like mystery related. Like I already have the detective corner marketed with Scooby-Doo here.
We did something like this once. This is how we got the sci-fi dystopian steakhouse.
Did we?
You and me, and like Ignacio or Alan or somebody else was on the show, and we talked about if you could have a theme for it, if you could design a theme for any restaurant, what theme would you want?
Sci-fi
We've done something like this.
I remember that one.
I love that concept. I don't know if it's the right format for a draft, but I like to do that in another sort of episode.
I mean, I feel like it could work for a draft. Because I could see, like, for example, I could see you picking like an 80s office themed style bar, or like a James Bond themed bar or something like that.
I feel like a draft needs an element of scarcity, and with an extremely broad, like abstract topic like that, there's not enough scarcity.
Okay, I gotcha. I see where your head's at. Yeah. Yeah, I still like the food menu idea. Yes, you are.
Let's draft movie memorabilia to put in a Planet Hollywood.
Okay. Good one too. That's so, but that's also, I feel like, a lot of does if I pick a lightsaber, does that mean no one else can have like a sword or a weapon?
No, like a lightsaber is a lightsaber, and then you can still have like the sword from Highlander. It might be like, I want Marty McFly's puffy vest. Then we can't also have the hoverboard. Like, you pick one item from any franchise to go into your exclusive Planet Hollywood.
What if we limit it to a specific franchise? Stuff that would have a lot of
no, it has to. No, let's do movies that existed prior to actual Planet Hollywood. So you have to pick movie memorabilia prior to 1998.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, like I'm trying to think of like a way to narrow it down. I think that's a good step in the right direction here. To because like I was even thinking like, what if we only did, for example, we just covered the Ghostbusters movies over on the review show? What if we did like only Ghostbusters memorabilia? So if someone gets a proton pack, no one else gets it, but I can get Egon's glasses. And you can get someone else's sneakers.
The best booth at the Planet Hollywood.
You can get
sitting by the glasses. Can I have a glasses view booth, please?
You could get the haunted refrigerator, right?
I feel like that's.
You could get a jar of the Stay Puffed marshmallow cream.
That's too specific. It needs to be big enough that we can have surprises, but small enough that there's scarcity. We could do like a decade, like between the years of 1990 and 1997. What film props do you want in your Planet Hollywood?
I can say that. I can see that. That works. That works. Yeah, let's at least pencil in the chain restaurant menu and the movie memorabilia one.
Okay.
Chain bar and grill menu props
let's
for Planet
draft
Hollywood.
Prom themes.
Prom themes. I think those are some good ones. Is there any other kind of game or tradition that has been like rattling around in the back of your mind that you feel like we could potentially do something like? So there's been something that I've had in the back of my mind for a long, long time, and I forgot what it was. So
good job.
I can't bring it to the table now. So there's a Formula One podcast that I listen to, and every new season of races that happens right before it starts, they do what they call a primer. It is like, hey, if you know nothing about Formula One, listen to this episode. We will tell you about the sport. We will tell you who's who, what's what. We'll get you ready to go, so you at least have some working knowledge for this season. And every week when they record a new episode, they say, hey, if you're new to Formula One, we encourage you to go check out our primer, which is an episode, right? And they just like, hey, if you know nothing, check out that one. And shortly after I started listening to that podcast, I came up with an idea that I was like, this is brilliant. We could do this every year on the Captain's Log or who knows what. And it would be like some kind of Whatnauts primer. But I don't remember what we were priming people on. And getting the like, I don't know if it was like and this is the state of Marvel right now. Like, here's if you want to know like what's happening in the MCU, like here's what you need to know. Here's what's coming out. Here's like some of the comic book side, some things. I don't think it was that. But I don't remember what it was. But I remember I was like, oh, that's brilliant. That's perfect. Like Melissa would love that. It'd be awesome.
I love explaining.
I'm stuck. I just completely forgot what it was.
I do like the idea of a book report episode where you and I either towards each other or together towards the audience, we have to explain something.
I read Johnny Tremaine by here's what I learned from reading Fight
Catcher
Club.
in the Rye. Fight Club is Catcher in the Rye for adults.
Anyways,
would we be priming people on something we knew well? Like you and I explain Lost. Or would we be attempting to prime ourselves on something we don't know? Like we have to explain the Vampire Diaries to ourselves.
No, it was meant to be like we could do it every year and like re-up on that same topic of like, here's if you're interested in this and this is something we talk about a lot on this podcast, here's everything you might need to know of just like, you know, getting the weather of like, which way is the wind blowing in
this
Marvel
is our
comics?
Wet Finger episode.
Right, yeah. I like that, like, for like the MCU is an easy example to pull on, but that's not what my idea was. But that could be a thing like, okay, here's all the shows that are coming out this year for the MCU. Here's all the movies. Here's all the predictions that people are thinking might happen. And then over on the comic book side, here are some comics that might tie in, like all that stuff. And just every year we would kind of redo that episode, that explanation, because new movies will be coming out, new episodes will be right. Like,
I like the idea of once a year until it happens, we spend an episode guessing who's going to be in Secret Wars. I did like the idea of doing sealed envelope time capsule predictions of today. February 2024, we're writing a list of 10 people we want to see in Secret Wars, and then we put the envelope on a shelf and we pull it down when Secret Wars happens.
We kind of do that in our Rotten Tomatoes movie. We do those like extra bets and predictions of like, I think this song will be in some movie this year.
And I think our Rotten Tomatoes episode does kind of act as an exploration of the film year to come.
Yes. Yeah.
Through one specific lens, but we're trying it.
Yeah. So I guess all of that goes to back to the question of like, do you have any other kind of idea rattling around in the back of your head of like, we could potentially do this, but I don't know.
I do like, we have so much knowledge.
Oh. I know, Melissa.
Just an episode where you let me really explain Disney World to you. Or you really explain this thing to me. We take a virtual vacation. The Whatnauts summer vacation, where you and I just Google what could we do in Vegas if we were going there. What could we do in London, Tokyo, Dubai? Or someplace really bland, like, all right, what are we doing in Davenport, Iowa?
So this year we're off to Lansing, Michigan.
What's there to do in Lansing? We're going to find out together.
Interesting.
There's one game we played once that we never even had a name for, where it was like a mini draft where you and I drafted together a list of 10 fast food, like drive-through restaurants. That was our criteria, is that it had to have a drive-through. And then we had to rank them together. We've never done that. That was kind of fun, but we've never done it again. I think partially because we don't know how to refer to it. It's just that one. We didn't name that game.
If we're gonna do that list of our favorite movies from every year, that's
not a ranking, but yeah, that fits a similar mold. That's true.
Yeah. Oh no. I think it'd also be really, really fun at some point for us to play Guess Who. Remember that old game, but with only characters that came out in movies that we went to go see?
Just movies both of us went to go see.
Yeah. Like, does your character have brown hair? No. Okay.
Oh, all right. Interesting.
That's an idea. I don't know. I don't know. We might just have to table it there, and I'm sure at some point we'll come up with stuff down the road. That's just the idea of this. The Planarama is plan out a few things.
Brainstorm.
We'll see what happens down the road. Yeah.
So these are the episodes we have penciled in, an explanation of football, or at least the like sections. This is not an entire episode, but this will like be one dedicated segment that might take half an hour. We're going to explain football. We're going to rank best picture nominees from Wet to Try. Well, I'm going to do that. You just listen. You don't have an equivalent activity, though you're welcome to have one.
I get to judge your list. How wet is that list? Let's see.
Magic 8 Ball. Magic 8 Ball coming back? You got to tell me.
I would like to. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We Magic could reverse the tables.
Video game predictions.
I could make you do Magic 8 Ball Oscar predictions.
Yeah. Absolutely. I
Kyle,
don't know a thing about the Oscars.
Kyle, tell me right now, who do you think is going to get nominated for Best Lead Actor? Please name 5 actors from this past year.
Yes, Chef. Zac Efron.
Okay.
Godzilla. And God, who else? What came out this past year here? I don't know. My mind goes blank in podcasts.
You have so many options.
This is why I can't remember people's names.
You named 2 Von Erich brothers, 1 Big Lizard. What do you think are Cillian Murphy's chances for Oppenheimer?
Oh, I'd say Rami Malek instead.
Rami Malek in lead as man with clipboard.
Yeah.
Best holder of clipboard.
Yeah. No, he might be nominated. Ken. And they won't specify which one. They'll just say Ken.
All Kens.
Yeah, all of them.
They have to walk up there like holding hands with each other like kids on a museum tour.
They're sitting in 2 separate spots in the audience. Walk up and think it's for them. No, I'm Ken. You're not. I'm Ken. No, this is my work. No, it's not. And they have a beach fight scene.
And the best animated feature Oscar goes to Spider-Man, and 3 Spider-Man stand up and point at each other.
Right, yeah.
This morning I was thinking about how much I want the Oscars ceremony to open with host Jimmy Kimmel sitting on the stage on a beach blanket with an acoustic guitar playing, "I wanna host you tonight. Yes, I will. Yes, I will." I want to present you with awards.
Okay. All right. I feel like we've gotten a good bit
We
on
have a
our
good
Planarama
assortment
here. Yeah. So I say we kind of wrap things up with that. Wrap things up with that. I think we got some good, exciting stuff happening real soon here on the captain's log.
and who knows? Cons are back.
Mm-hmm.
We took last year off for cons, by which I mean the year before last we did Comic-Con / D23 MCU announcement bingo, where we tried to see what we would get right. Last year that didn't. Well, D23 is an every other year thing, and because of the strikes, there really wasn't any big presence like that at Comic-Con. That should be back this year. We could do that again.
Yeah, we could potentially do that. I'd be down for something like that. But yeah, we'll wrap things up right there. We'll be back, I guess, in 2 weeks, which will be February 4th, which, if I'm not mistaken, is Super Bowl Sunday. So yeah, Melissa will. Are they doing it on the 11th?
I think it's the 11th. I actually wrote it down because I needed to know to plan stuff around it. It is the 11th.
It is the 11th. Okay. Well, either way, it's Super Bowl Sunday in our hearts because Melissa will be explaining football. I know football. I grew up watching it. I grew up playing it. Stuff like that. But not on like my high school team. I was always way too small. But
yeah, I'm like you're too small. They crush you.
But I'm artistic. They'd crush me.
What if you had b-boy skills on this football team? Hear me out.
Yeah. Which is why I ended up playing lacrosse in high school instead. I was like, I'm too small to play football, but I've played soccer my whole life. So I kind of want to switch sports and now hit something. So let me get a metal stick that I can hit
lacrosse
people with.
is soccer with hitting.
Right, yeah. So yeah, next episode, Melissa explains football. I think that'll be real exciting. So yeah, stuff to look forward to. Food to eat, food to pick for your team, your restaurant. All that good stuff. Melissa, where can the people find you on the internet?
I do have a letterboxd. It's at Wilkywit, WILKYWIT. You might follow me and say you've only reviewed 3 movies in the last several months. Shh.
To which I say, yes.
Yeah, I will eventually.
That's okay. Take your time. It's your letterbox account. It's not mine that you're running for me.
It's too time consuming for like the idle bits of phone time I have, like while I'm waiting for a Hulu commercial to end or for a meal to be microwaved.
I mean, I bet there's someone on there whose whole shtick is they do 1-word reviews of the
I don't think it'll let you. I think you have to say at least like 8.
Really?
I think there's a limit.
Reviews, or they do multiple things where it's like, here's my 1-word review, here's my 1 emoji review of the film, right? And that's just what they do. So sometimes, you can just be heating up your Pop-Tart in the toaster and being like, that emoji is a poop icon because this movie was poop.
How do I feel about The Irishman? 3 balloons.
Sure, yeah. Exactly, right?
You figure it out.
Yeah. If you guys would like to follow me, I am at Yo Kyle Springer on most social media places. And if you'd like to stay up to date with all of the stuff that we do here at the Whatnauts, we are at the Whatnauts Official on Threads. So please go like, share, and subscribe. Check out more of our videos right over there on that side of the screen. That would help us out a ton. Yeah, this has been number 264 of the Whatnauts Captain's Log. We will see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.